Hey, Michael, how are you doing today?
Good. Welcome, Woodrow. Thanks for joining us on Charity Navigators live chat.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So, Woodrow, can you tell us what Giving Tuesday is, please?
Absolutely. I think a lot of people already know. In fact, I can tell from the data that most people know. Giving Tuesday was started in 2012 as just a day to celebrate generosity and encourage people to do good in lots of ways. At the time when it was launched at the 92nd Street Y, there wasn't really any ambition that this was going to take off and be celebrated in every country of the world every year, with more than 70 official global movements and hundreds of community movements across the United States. It was just simply an idea that after Black Friday and Cyber Monday, we would have a day for giving back. And it turns out that that resonated really well with people all around the world.
It's been incredible to watch from Charity Navigators since the initial launch, and really sort of gently pushing and providing support to it over the years. So today, Giving Tuesday now, what is that, and how's that different from the Giving Tuesday that comes after Thanksgiving?
Yeah, it's the first time we've ever done a Giving Tuesday outside that time frame, and I think that really speaks to just how extraordinary our current situation is. We were looking at the crisis resulting from COVID around the world and the impacts of the pandemic on communities, on the nonprofit sector, on people, and we wanted to help to give back. And in fact, we were being encouraged by our community of global leaders and partners like Charity Navigator to find a way to really make a substantial difference. And so Giving Tuesday now was our response to the COVID crisis as a global community of givers. And it wasn't at all about kind of instead of all of the generosity that was bubbling up, but really as an opportunity to galvanize that and celebrate it and concentrate it and provide an inflection point for all the giving that's happening in support of causes and people affected by the crisis.
No, I think that this is incredibly important. And needless to say, at Charity Navigator, we've been following and supporting and helping donors find nonprofits that are either focused on the COVID-19 response and or just trying to keep going. And one of the things we saw was we ran a survey against the organizations we evaluate, and 83% of them are showing a negative financial impact right now from the pandemic. Then the other data point we've noted, which is troubling, is that you've got essentially a 50% increase in demand for the services they're providing, and that's being countered with this like a 64% decrease in their ability to actually execute on their programs. So anything we can do right now to help nonprofits is critical. So how can individuals get involved in the Giving Tuesday Now event?
Well, in this way, Giving Tuesday Now is like any other Giving Tuesday. Getting involved means showing support for causes you care about in lots of different ways. And most people participate in Giving Tuesday in multiple ways. The vast majority of financial donors are also taking some other action, and most people do more than one thing to participate. And the indications right now are that that's going to be the same for Giving Tuesday Now today. We're giving to charities you care about is really a critical way to get involved. As you pointed out, both the need and the ability to respond to that need are really critical right now. And the charitable sector is really struggling to respond. This is despite the fact that there are a lot of indicators that giving is up, certainly year over year. March and April were big times for giving, and we think today will be an enormous day for people giving back financially, with their time, with their voice, lots of creative ways that people are getting involved. But the need is so great, and the struggle to meet that need is so challenging right now, that we're really this is more needed than ever before. And so we're absolutely here to celebrate all of that generosity. We also want to amplify it like crazy. Not that said, not everybody has as much money to give right now, and so there are lots of other ways that people can get involved, and both in support of nonprofits, but just also in support of one another in our communities. And that outpouring of support really is meaningful and really does help people to navigate this crisis.
I think what you're saying is really important, because there's so many different aspects to the nonprofit sector, and folks are affected by this in very different ways. And one of the things that we've been asking people when they come to us is sort of say, well, they say, what should I do? And I think one of the key things is, stay true to the ones that you love. If you've been supporting an organization for the last number of years, they're going to need your support more than ever right now. If you're also wanting to do something very much focused around the COVID-19 response, then find a curated list of good nonprofits that are actually focused on it. At Charity Navigator, we've done that. We've got a hot topic where we can drive donors to about 114 individual nonprofits focused on different areas, from medical supply, medical services, education, food services, all of these different areas. And so you can kind of split your time between them. One thought, Woodrow, is we've talked a little bit about what the donors can do. So I'm a nonprofit. How do I get involved in GivingTuesday now? And and even if I'm only discovering this right now, what's my best move right now to really leverage this event and drive some attention to what we do?
Yeah, well, for sure, I think the key thing is just get into the conversation. To your point about different types of organizations that need support, we're seeing people respond in lots of different ways, and certainly response and helping those organizations that are directly in the COVID fight. Those organizations have a clear, relevant message right now about why they need support. Likewise, those organizations that are dealing with the secondary impact, and we really saw a wave of support for those organizations. If you're a food bank, if you're a homeless shelter, you're really dealing with those vulnerable communities and dealing with the additional need. That's an important story to tell as a nonprofit, as a charity that's dealing with the impacts, the community impacts of this crisis. And so tell that story, explain how you're supporting communities through this moment. And then the third category is those organizations in our community that are really vital to the fabric of our society that are hurting. And a lot of those organizations are really dependent on earned revenue that has effectively disappeared. You think about your arts organizations. And so just as donors should be thinking about those organizations that they've supported, that are in their community, that are part of that fabric. And we are seeing that they are doing that. They are stepping up and supporting, and I think really reflecting on who is in their community, both in terms of the really local, like who's around my corner, what does that arts organization contribute to my community, as well as how am I part of this global community. So for those
Yep, we seem to.
right now, we need those organizations, and people are open to that message right now. I
think we're having a little bit of a delay, Woodrow. I'm not sure
what we're seeing is that people are highly motivated to give in lots of different ways to lots of different causes. So get in the conversation, tell your story, and explain what value is, and that's the way to leverage this moment.
No, I would agree with that. And I think one of the things you said is it's important to note that the pandemic is having a very uneven and actually hugely disparate effect on nonprofits. And so arts organizations, museums, they're kind of shut down right now. And also organizations, I think one of the things to really think about is organizations have different channels where they bring in revenue. And so direct fundraising, the way we're doing today, is one of many. for an organization that really depends on an annual gala, or they do organized walks or runs, those aren't happening right now. And as a result, they're going to need to supplement their revenue streams in very different ways. And I think this event and what's happening today is a very important opportunity for all of us at this point. Is this happening nationally? Is it international? How can you say something about the actual scope?
Yeah, so I mean, there are over 200 Giving Tuesday community campaigns across the US. Majority of those are engaged in one way or another. We're seeing activity right across the country and around the world. So we have, as I said, 70 official Giving Tuesday global movements. They're active right now in lots of different ways. The crisis has hit our team just as it has everyone else around the world. So the capacity certainly differs from country to country, but we're seeing people get involved organically, and we're seeing our communities rise up to take this challenge. And really, we got this rolling. We made this decision 5 weeks ago. It's been really amazing to see the outpouring of support from partners around the world, and it really is another global day.
No, it's amazing. I remember when we spoke about 5 weeks ago, and we were kind of like, okay, let's do it, but we got to move fast because, you know, and I don't know if you remember in that conversation, one of my colleagues was saying, isn't this a little bit late? You know, and I actually don't think it's late, but it's good that we're out there, and it's happening right now, and telling our stories. And one thing we're trying to do is also promote the stories of other nonprofits. The one thing I'll add for everyone out there, particularly nonprofits, is use the hashtag. So it's hashtag Giving Tuesday now. You've got to get the word out and really, really let people know what's going on. It's important.
Yeah, it really does help us also amplify those messages and identify what's going on. Hashtag is already trending #1 in the US, #1 in Canada. So it's obviously, there's a lot of action. Get in that conversation, use the hashtag, absolutely.
And that's, I think people don't always realize, if you don't use that, if you use the hashtag, everyone else is going to pile onto it and just amplify you. And so it actually helps you reach more people. So please do that. It will really help. The other thing I wanted to say for donors who are looking to figure out where to get involved and they're not really sure, we have a Discover tool on our homepage which can help you just figure out where you want to focus your attention. I think all aspects of giving are very personal, and they tend to be very emotional and heart driven. And so the mantra that I like to use is follow your heart. Figure out where it is that you want to engage and make a difference. Then use your head. So make sure you're giving to a real organization. If it has an evaluation, great. You can use charitynavigator.org for that. But you want to do a little bit of diligence to ensure that there's going to be impact from your gift. And then make a difference. Give until it feels good.
That's really well said. And I think that's really the Giving Tuesday experience we see every year. People are really motivated to give. They give more often to more causes on the day. And they're also more thoughtful about their giving. There's more research being done into nonprofits and their missions and their transparency on Giving Tuesday every year than any other day of the year. And so that really is the experience. It's about celebrating giving. It's about giving with your heart, but also thinking about how you're going to make that difference.
This is great. Is there any other thoughts you wanted to add on where we are right now? And I guess, are you tracking the giving? Is there a ticker or somewhere that people can go to look at what's going on?
So we're not tracking live, but we're certainly working with our partners now, over 150 donation platforms and payment processors in the US and globally. So we are looking at what the giving trends are going to look like. We're also looking at volunteer behavior, and a number of other behaviors. We're doing a lot of social listening to understand what's motivating people, how that's connecting to action. And we will be looking at those trends and reporting on them throughout May and June, so that the sector and the public can understand where the needs are, where they're being met, where there's risk, and where there's opportunity.
That's fantastic. And I know we're trying to have an hourly update of where the money is going through our giving basket. And for those of you not aware, we part of the features of Charity Navigator in terms of evaluations and finding organizations in specific categories is also the ability to do the transaction directly. So you can find an organization and give to it right from our site. You can actually give to multiple organizations, and we're going to be tracking today where's the money going and how much is actually getting tracked, and the team's going to be updating that regularly. And I know we're also one of the partners supplying data into all of you. I mean, this is fantastic. I'm really excited to see where we go with this. It's like you said, we haven't done this before, but we haven't had a situation like this before. And I think these are very special times that are requiring that we see and do things in a slightly different way. What else would you like to say to the audience at this point, Woodrow?
Share what you're doing, celebrate your givers, find a cause to give back to. We're really excited as well to see where this is going. These are unprecedented times. The threats are real and existential, but the behaviors that we're seeing, the generosity that's emerging, and the opportunity that presents are likewise, I think, in the longer term, quite unprecedented.
Thank you for that. And I think one thing I was just thinking of, because I just did this myself, but you can run a fundraiser, you can do your own personal fundraiser for the organization you've supported on Facebook and really get the word out. And again, use the hashtag donors and charities should be using the hashtag GivingTuesday now, because that will get amplification. But as an individual giver, you can also set up your own peer-to-peer giving platform on Facebook, and there are other entities that'll help you do this. Get the word out, give till it feels good.
Great advice.
Any questions for me, Woodrow? Or I think we've covered quite a bit. I'm excited about seeing where the numbers are. It's already almost 10:30. Let's see how much. We should go look at what the numbers are.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. Let's see how things are looking, and sharing that progress on the giving basket throughout the day is just going to be fascinating to watch. Really looking forward to seeing that.
Okay, well, we will definitely keep that going. And once again, thank you so much for joining us on our Facebook Live. I've got a number coming in from the team. There's already $20,000 has come in through Charity Navigator's Giving Basket since the morning. So we're making progress.
Great. Well, I look forward to seeing how the rest of the day pans out with you guys. Thanks so much for being such great partners, Michael.
Okay. Thank you, Woodrow. Bye-bye.
Bye.